Have you ever felt stuck when it is time to post a story or a reel and you're like, wait a minute, what should I even be saying? What am I talking about today? Well, I got you covered because I'm going to be sharing 7 content ideas for stories and for reels. And this is especially for those of you that are providing professional services such as therapists and coaches and accountants and realtors and speakers and trainers and all of like. And so I'm Sharvette Mitchell, and I'm the CEO of Mitchell Productions. We're a marketing professional development firm, and we work with high achieving women entrepreneurs to position their expertise and business to generate more revenue telling the story of their business through marketing, visibility, and branding strategies. And I'm excited that you are here with me. Listen, this is being broadcast live in our Facebook community, Marketing Tips with Sharvette. So welcome to all of those. And I'm just checking on my phone to make sure that you all can hear me and see me. And in addition, I like to check the comments on the phone because it just feels like it's easier to see there. Hey, Jewel, thank you for popping on in. Certainly, hello to everyone that may be checking this out on YouTube, or you might be listening to the podcast version of this. We're glad to have you for this weekly training. So again, I'm going to be talking about 7 content ideas for stories, for reels. And we started off the top of the month talking about visibility, mindset strategies for visibility. Check that out if you haven't seen that. That was really good. And then last time, the last video was all about 6 components or 6 steps to building your personal brand. So I invite you to check that out. But not right now. Stay with me right here. Stay with me right here as we talk about 7 content ideas for stories and reels. And so, as a reminder, stories are located on Facebook, they're located on Instagram, they're located in TikTok as well, and that's the vertical video that you'll see use on your phone. Stories disappear, and so they are kind of like that throwaway content, if you will. But then there are reels, which certainly are on Instagram and Facebook, and a reel in essence is a TikTok as well. And YouTube has gotten into the game with shorts, which is essentially a minute or less vertical video. And so they're very powerful, they're very popular, and they're a great way to get quick content in front of your ideal clients and your prospects. And so, the first content idea I have for you for stories and or reels is the 3 signs you're ready for X service. So you would put in whatever you do. 3 signs you're ready for, let's just use an example, 3 signs you're ready for therapy. And so that might be something like, hey, here are 3 signs you're ready to start therapy. You feel emotionally stuck, you are tired of carrying it all alone, and you crave a safe space to heal. That might be an example, for instance, that a therapist might use as this 3 signs you're ready for X service. So you stick in your service. So keep in mind that oftentimes people don't need your service until they need it, and then sometimes people just don't know that they're ready for what you have to offer. And so this particular content idea works because it educates, it creates awareness, and it normalizes getting help. It normalizes that, hey, there are occasions where I need to hire somebody for this service. So that's the first content idea, 3 signs you're ready for X service. And then you just put that in. And keep in mind, reels and stories, 30 seconds, a minute less. Hey everybody, we see you popping on in as we talk about 7 content ideas for stories and reels. So let me go on to number two, peek into your process. So this is a concept and hey Stacy, this is a concept and a thought of a story or a reel that works really well. So show them the behind the scenes of your process. Show them the behind the scenes, perhaps, of your intake process. Show them how you maybe prep to work with clients. Maybe show them how you prep for a speaking or training engagement. How do you reset in between clients? What are the things that you do to help get your day started or help close out your day? So take your audience on a journey and give them a peek into your process. And so, like for instance, this you could actually talk, or it could be a voiceover for your content, for your reels and stories. So it could be something like, "Hey, you ever wonder what it was like working with me? Here's how I make clients feel seen and supported, and they, get whatever they need from me." Something of that nature. So it's great because you can do voiceovers, or you can just actually just show them and have the text on the screen. And so, why this works is kind of peer and peek into your process is that it really builds trust and transparency within your content with your audience. So that is the second content idea for stories and reels. Let's move on to number three. Number three idea for content and reels would be the this or that story poll. So there's a feature, it's a sticker, if you will, within stories that's on Facebook and that's on Instagram as well, where you can have the viewer select, do I want this or do I want that? And so it helps you learn about your audience. So for instance, you might say, well, Sharvette, what would I use? So someone that say like is a coach or a consultant might have a this, which is one-on-one sessions, or that group support or group sessions. So then your audience gets to pick, hey, do I really like being one-on-one working with someone, or do I like and crave and appreciate a group experience? And so then your audience gets to select, and that gives you insight into your audience. So that's one content idea for stories that work really well, is this kind of this or that poll. And it could be morning routine versus evening wind down. So just helping you learn and engage with your audience. And again, being able to then later go off and do future posts or do future things related to how people answered your poll. So it helps with engagement and gives you additional content ideas. So if you're just coming on in, we are talking about 7 content ideas for stories and reels. And this is specifically geared to those of you who provide professional services. Although I will say, absolutely, if you provide a product, you can gain from this insight as well. So the first story idea was 3 signs you're ready for X service. So helping your potential customers know that they're ready to hire you. The second content idea was a peek into your process, taking them behind the scenes, showing your intake process, showing what you do in between clients, and just a day in the life of. And then the third idea was a story poll. So actually polling your audience and giving them a this or that type of poll to let them respond and also give you more information. So let's move on to number 4. Number 4, myth versus truth reel. This is really great. This is a really, really great perspective to use because you get to bust down kind of like common misconceptions that are related to your industry, related to your service, and just kind of misinformation. And so this will give you the opportunity to deal with what things that are out there that are myths and what things that are out there that, like, no, here's the actual truth. And this works really well because it establishes your expertise, and it also breaks down like any stigma or anything related to any fears maybe even people have, especially those of you who are like financial advisors and consult with people, accountants in that money space. Money is really one of those areas where people are scared, right? There's a lot of fear related to money across different reasons, different people. And so doing a myth versus the truth is a great reel. And again, reels, you're thinking under a minute, but maybe even 30 seconds. So let's stick with our therapist as an example. So what could a therapist say that's a myth versus a truth reel? So a therapist might say, here's the myth. Therapy is only for those that are in crisis. But here's the truth. It's for anyone who wants to grow, heal, and thrive. So you see that, and so then that shows their expertise, and also takes away that even if there's any stigma related to that. All right, so let's go on to number 5 of our 7 content ideas for reels and for stories. And again, I am Sharvette Mitchell, the host of Marketing Tips with Sharvette, a Facebook community. So if you are not in here, you should be in here. And then certainly CEO of Mitchell Productions. And this training and this segment is being brought to you by our 9th event. It's going to be happening in Richmond, Virginia, November 7th and 8th. It's called the Platform Builder Summit VIP Experience. Wherever you are watching, reading, or listening, look down below in the notes or in the comments, and you'll see a link to the platformbuildersummit.com. You can check out information, because if you like the types of conversations we are having, that we've been having, and that we will continue to have, then the Platform Builder Summit is a place for you to be if you are thinking about, hey, I need to focus on marketing, visibility, and business development. So you're in the right place. All right, welcome, welcome, welcome. So number five of our content ideas, specifically for reels and stories: client journey. Share a client journey, and you don't have to break any confidentiality. This is different than a client testimonial. So with a client testimonial, you may have actual pictures. You may have an actual screenshot of a email that a client sent you. You might have a Google review, because the Google review will identify, who left it. You might even have video testimonials. So those that may be checking this out on YouTube, we have a whole playlist that says client testimonials. So you could click on that playlist and watch video testimonials from clients. That's different than this. So a client journey, you don't need the client's name. You don't need to show their face. But what you're just talking about is the transformation. So, for instance, something like, when I started working with this particular client, she was burnout, overwhelmed. Now she's setting boundaries, protecting her peace, and thriving. So that might be, again, an example of what maybe a therapist might say. So you're just sharing how a client started and where they are now, from point A to point B, or point A to point Z, however long it took. And that's a great use of a story or a reel, because it's something that you can say less than 30 seconds, less than a minute. If you want to go into more detail and elaborate more, you certainly can. But the client journey, that is concept number 5 of 7 of your content ideas. For those that are listening, or if you're checking this out later, let us know in the chat if you're like, yeah, some of these, I'm grabbing some of these. Just let me know in the chat. All right, number six is a content idea where you can give simply a quick tip or a micro lesson. So you are really like actually doing a teaching moment, or giving them a quick, like, helpful nugget. That works really well for stories or reels, because it's something, again, you can do in less than 30 seconds. It seems like the shorter reels seem to do a little bit better, but you can do up to a minute. And actually on Instagram, you can go, any video that you post, they turn into a reel. So you have a little, you can actually talk a longer period of time. But I would say, from people's attention span, a minute or less is a great place to stay. And 30 seconds it might be even a sweet spot that you have. Hey Lynn, we see you popping in. So content idea for number 6 of our 7 content ideas for reels and stories, again geared towards professional service providers, is to share a quick tip or a helpful nugget. So let's keep going with like our example of a therapist. So for instance, a therapist might have a therapist tip that says, name your emotions out loud. Labeling helps reduce overwhelm and build emotional clarity. That could be a tip that a therapist might say in a reel, or it might even be text over, you working in the office, or driving to the office, or what have you, or working on Zoom, or whatever you're doing. So it adds value, and it's short and to the point. So again, I think 30 seconds is probably a sweet spot. You can go up to a minute, and that's a quick tip or a micro lesson. Number 7 of our 7 content ideas for stories and for reels. And if you are here live, hey, Pastor Kathleen, and you have a question or a comment, please go ahead and post that in the chat here. If you have a question or a comment, I'd love to answer a couple questions or comments. So the 7th content idea for stories and reels is your why story. Why do you do what you do? Why do you offer the services that you offer? What is your why? And this is a talk to the camera video. All right. So some of the other reels and stories I kind of get, you could shoot, you in action, or it doesn't have to actually be you talking to the camera. But for your why story, this is a talk to the camera story. Now, you could do a voiceover if you have a couple of clips of you, in your phone that you could create like a little video. But I think a talk to the camera video would work the best. And so you want to talk about, why you started your business, how you got into it, and where it has brought you from. And the reason why this kind of why story works is that it is a way to tap into the emotion of your potential leads and your potential customers and even existing customers. Because don't forget, you are always marketing to existing clients as well as new clients. It also shows your authenticity because people like to do business with those they feel like they know, like, and trust. And it helps to kind of build that connection with your audience. So anyone that has been around me for a little bit, my origin story. So you can, let me split this up because you can do what's called an origin story, and then you could do what's called a why story. And some of you that may be the same, and some of you that may be different. So your origin story is like what caused you to start your business. But the why, I'm going to say, is like what really keeps you going. And so you could have both of those. Your why story could be also related to a major shift that you did in your business or a major pivot that you did. So maybe you were offering something and now you don't offer it anymore. Maybe you started something new. Maybe you went in a different direction, and telling the why of that would be very, very powerful. On this past week's podcast, our guest that was on, Lakeisha Green, talked about how she had a business, brick and mortar business boutique, and had to close it at one point. And so certainly that's like, that's gut wrenching, right? Anytime you have to close down or shut down a business. But then now she's got a new space. She's doing a couple different things, and she's got co-working. She does events, and so it was really great to kind of hear her say, like, hey, I went. It put me at rock bottom, but I was able to bounce back up, bring my confidence, refine what I offer. That's a great why story. So it's about connecting, tapping into that emotion for your audience, your leads. It's showing that authenticity, and it is also making connections. So those are 7 content ideas for stories and reels. I invite you to, comment in the chat if you are listening now or later, wherever you are. And even if you're listening to the podcast version, there's a send text option right there. If you're anywhere you're listening to the podcast version, send me a text and let me know what resonated with you. And again, if you are liking this conversation and these types of conversations, I want to invite you to come be with me in Richmond, Virginia, November 7th and November 8th. That's a Friday and Saturday. It's for the Platform Builder Summit VIP experience. And we'll have more conversation around this. It's really around your marketing, your visibility, and your business development. We have speakers and sessions all tied to that. We're in early bird. It is a VIP experience. There are no general population tickets, all VIP. So jump over to Platform Builder summit.com, which is a pinned post or a comment wherever you are watching, or look down below for the link. Now, let me say this as a kind of a pro tip for both reels and stories. Is that you also want to attach a CTA. What is a CTA? A call to action. And so you want to instruct the viewer to do something. The call to action can be either said, it can be on screen, so text, or it can be in the caption. And so, call to action might be, hey, DM me to learn more. It could be, hey, click the link in my bio for XYZ. It could be, share this with someone. It could be, subscribe. So, you want to give the, it could say comment below. You want to give the viewer some type of action to take. You're going to request an action. So, that's just a pro tip right there. All right, so that's that. Any questions or comments that are coming in? I do see one question that has come in about, should can you record these, or do you do them like kind of live and in action? So I am a huge proponent of batch recording. I actually have a blog post that's on the Mitchell Productions website about batch recording reels specifically. And so the great thing is, if you take these 7 content ideas, and even if 5 of them resonated with you, these are videos that you could record all at one time, and then you can sparse out over over your network. And so yes, I am a proponent of recording multiple things at one time. And then also there's a question around, do you do a different type of reel for Facebook versus a different type of reel for Instagram? I do not. So if I have a 30-second video, this is the power of this. So if I have a 30-second video, let me tell you all of the places that I'm going to put it. So if I have a 30-second video, it's going to, first, let's start with Facebook. It's going to be in my Facebook stories personal page. It's going to be in my Facebook. It could be a reel. Let's do a reel. It's going to be a reel on my personal page. It's going to be put into my stories on Facebook. That's the personal page. On the business page, it's going to be put on the business page as a reel. So now we're in 3 places. I'm going to jump over to Instagram. I'm going to put it as an Instagram reel. That's 4 places. And an Instagram story. That's 5 places. My Instagram stories automatically send it to my business Facebook page. That's 6 places. Then I'm also going to take that video and put it on to YouTube Shorts. That's 7 places. And then I'm also going to post it on my TikTok. That's 8 places. So you did one piece of content, let's say up to 50 seconds, that now, depending on where you have coverage with your content, your digital footprint, up to 7 places. And you could even say 8, because if you have something that works well for LinkedIn is now even gravitating to these, what we call horizontal vertical videos. So this is, excuse me, vertical video. So a vertical video is when you shoot it on your phone and the video is this way, versus a horizontal video, which is what you're looking at with me, which is shot this way. So now LinkedIn is even leaning towards the style of video that are reels and stories. So there you have it. All right, it's a wrap. I am going to get out of your way. Thank you for those certainly that are here checking us out, and we will continue with our weekly sessions here in live in Marketing Tips with Sharvette. But again, thank you for those that are listening to the podcast version. You might be also watching this by way of YouTube. We're going to see you later on the web. It's been a pleasure hanging out with you. Have an amazing weekend. FYI, I am hosting on Monday a virtual. So if you're on my YouTube, you're definitely going to see this. I'm hosting, to close out Women's History Month, a virtual Women's History Month virtual summit with 4 amazing speakers. So that's going to be Monday at 7 p.m. Where you are watching, certainly on YouTube, you'll get to experience that. And it's about women. So you don't have to be a business owner. We've got some amazing topics. Actually, we have Dr. Nina Copeland is going to open us up, and her topic is permission to pivot, letting go of who you were to embrace who you're becoming. That's Monday, the 31st of March at 7 p.m. And then we have Edwinette Moses is going to be our second speaker virtually, and her topic is navigating dual careers, balancing work, passion, and the future. Then our third speaker coming up, look, the baton will get passed to Pastor Kathleen Moore. She's actually here with us live, and the topic is strategic planning and administrative excellence for business and ministries. And then our fourth speaker, who is our anchor speaker, Lynn Lewis. She's actually here with us live right now, and her topic is disenfranchised grief. Is that even a thing? So it's going to be so good. The best place to check it out is YouTube. youtube.com// Sharvette, youtube.com/Sharvette on Monday, March 31st to close out International Women's History Month. Let me answer a question I see here. Should reels and stories be shot vertically or horizontally? So that is a great question. So again, vertical means this way, and so you hold your phone and it's this way. So it's uh, a long video this way. Horizontal is this way, which is usually what you're looking at now. Zooms or Microsoft Teams, those are horizontal videos. You want to shoot vertical. So you want to be looking in the camera and fill up the camera. So that is a great comment there. All right, let me check and see if I see any other questions. All right, it's a wrap. Thank you so much again for being here, and we'll see you all on the web. Bye.